Ain't no smile for them lips. I'm done playing polite. Yeah. Y'all be hiding behind screens. I'm bringing truth to the light. Think it's sweet cause it's YouTube. Think it's jokes, think it's views. Yeah. But I'm cut from...
Late night glow on the YouTube screen. Sean B steps in where the cuts run deep. From a New York state of mind she was born to see. What gets lost in the dark, what they don't wanna speak. Silk in her voice but the questions hit hard. Pulling back the curtain, laying truth on the yard. Every hush-hush story, every shadow clue. She's piecing up the pain till the whole thing comes through. She don't chase noise, she follows the trail. When the headlines miss, she will still unveil. With a sharp-eyed soul and a heart that knows some stories need light so the healing can grow. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. For the tears unseen and the cries turned low, she be lifting up the weight that the world let go. Every fact she finds got a purpose and pulse. Every case she touches makes the silence convulse. No cheap thrills, just grace and fire. Taking buried details higher and higher, where the whispers get drowned and the weak get missed. She's a soulful reminder they still exist. She can feel when the story ain't sitting right. So she walks through the dark just to bring back light. With that grown woman glow and pivotal flare, she's reaching for the truth cause it's waiting there. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. Got that city soul, that uptown grace, and a mind that can read what time can't erase. So gather round close, let the story unfold. Some truths need a voice, some hearts need a hold, and she won't let the quiet just fade away. She's turning low, whispers into words that stay. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Let the realness ride. Gets revealed and every story matters.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Queen Linda. How are you? Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Bush Watchers, or who's ever on the three-way watching me. Good morning to y'all, too. Believe it or not, God will bless y'all as well. It's okay. I totally understand. I'd hate me too. But as it is, ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Now, with that bullshit out of the way, good morning, Queen T. How are you, boo? Are y'all okay? Did y'all sleep good last night? Did y'all have a good day yesterday? Oh, Queen Linda said, I'm great. I'm glad I catch you this morning. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got to get back on my grind, right? Took the day off, and I wasn't even supposed to go live yesterday. I wasn't. I was not supposed to go live yesterday. I said I was taking the day off. I was going to run some errands and just be in the day in the beautiful weather. And I couldn't finish the day without my peoples. So I came and still spent a few hours with y'all. But I am upset with y'all. I thought y'all had my back. Why y'all sat there and let me talk about it's Saturday? I said it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Because I go back and I listen to my video, right? And I'm like, Saturday. I'm like, Sean B, you are so lost. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, Queen Bridget. How are you? How are you? Thank you for joining us this morning. Yes, T. I'm like, and I said it twice. I said Saturday twice, and nobody corrected me. T said I was sitting at work like I shouldn't be here. I was so thrown off because the way upstate New York weather is, we have really good weather on the weekend. Like when it starts to change, we have really good weather on the weekend and then bad weather during the week. So, absolutely, Queen. Absolutely. Bridget said, I'm good. And you, thank you, Sean. Absolutely, boo. And so yesterday, with it being so beautiful, it was a little brisk, but long as the sun is shining and it's not raining in New York, you take your blessings with the weather where you can get it. You know what I'm saying? And so it was so beautiful yesterday. And I don't know, I guess with Doobie being at home, it being spring breaking off for them, it just felt like a Saturday to me. I don't know. And y'all was like, listen, Queen said it's Saturday. Damn it, it's Saturday. T like, shit, how can I go home then? But it is okay. It's all right. We made it through that Saturday, huh? And so this time, we just going to have 2 this week. How about that? Good morning, Queen Steptoe. How are you, boo? Good morning. She says, good morning, Sean B. and everyone. I love that. Thank you. Good morning to you, too. Excuse me. This morning is nothing real heavy. Nothing really heavy. I just wanted to piggyback or bring back up when I did the live about the monsters that are right here in our country. Now, I know that this picture is kind of blurry because the more I tried to blow it up, the more blurry it became. So I apologize for that. However, you can see the United States and you can see the red, right? You can see it. You can see how red it is. Ooh, that makes it even worse. Let me put it back where it was. You can see the red, right? And where it's really, really dark, like it almost looks black, that's where it's really, really heavily populated, right? And what this is telling y'all is that there are, on this day with this reporting, there are 111,000 IP addresses that are sharing the most monstrous, disgusting, traumatizing acts committed against children. And when I say children, I'm not talking about young teens. I'm talking about babies. I'm talking about 10 or younger. Y'all hear what I'm saying? This is right here in our country, in our backyard. It's right here. And I'm going to share something with you guys this morning that I want you guys to listen to. And it was just freaking amazing.
The FBI is trying to identify possible victims of William James Vahey days after the search. Vahey in Luverne, Minnesota. On March 21st, 2014, 64-year-old William Vahey checked into this hotel room in Luverne, Minnesota. Unbeknownst to everybody around him, William had checked into the hotel using a fake name. He actually made an additional reservation across the street with his real name. But what happened next in this hotel room is utterly disturbing. Shortly after checking into this hotel, William went dark, and just a day later, his dead body was discovered in this bathtub right here. When local authorities looked into the man whose body they had discovered in this bathroom, they discovered that he was one of the most prolific in world history.
Pedos.
Hundreds, if not thousands of victims across the world. And he had unalived himself in this bathtub before justice could be served. Today's episode is going to be one of the darkest we've ever done. This story needs to be shared, and justice needs to be finally served for these victims. I'm Colin Brown, and welcome to the Paranormal Files.
Good morning, Queen Tina. She says, good morning, Queens. I'm sorry I'm late. Girl, you ain't late. This ain't no job, baby. It's only a job to me. You guys come when you can, and you stay as long as you can. You're not late, boo. Good morning, Lady Mysterious. Good morning. Queen Lady, I got all caught up on your videos. In that video where you show your mom in the clouds looking down with that music that you're playing, it gave me chills. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, boo. I applaud you. I applaud you. You're not half-assing anything. Oh, you jumped in it. You jumped in it. You got your hands and your feet all in it. And I just want you to know, queens like us are so proud of you for fighting this fight for your mom. I can't wait to hear the story of what happened to your beloved, to your queen. I can't wait. Okay. So I just wanted to, absolutely, boo. Thank you. Thank you for being the woman that you are. Okay. So I just wanted to give you that. I wanted to make sure that you know I'm there, boo. I am there. I am there. I may not always leave a comment, but I leave a footprint. Okay. You know I was walking around. Okay. So let's continue.
William Vahey has been described by various news outlets and newspapers and government officials as being one of the worst in world history. He has hundreds, if not thousands of victims, and he completely got away with every single one of his crimes. He never served a day in prison for what he did to hundreds of children, and this story will infuriate you. This story will horrify you. But it's an important story to share because you can see the warning signs. You can see the things that were happening, the signs that were missed and ignored by officials. And it was those missed warning signs and ignored signals that led to unspeakable horrors. As you can see, I'm not in my studio today. Courtney and I are actually on vacation in Colorado, but we're still working on vacation, so this is in our little rental cabin. That's why I'm shooting on my laptop in this completely wooden room here in Colorado. But without further ado, let's get into this story. As always, everybody liking the video and leaving a comment on the video. Maybe one day you'll catch someone in the act, you'll be able to turn someone in, or your awareness will just be up enough that you'll notice when something's wrong. Maybe your child's going to school and their teacher's a little too attached to them. Stories like this teach people what to do and what not to do. But without further ado, let's just get into this. William Vahey was born in 1949 in West Point, New York. William was the son of a highly decorated World War II pilot, and sadly, when he was a young boy, he was... And that series of attacks that William suffered at a young age would go on to influence him forever. After graduating from college in the year 1972, William Vahey wasted no time before traveling overseas. He was determined to become a teacher at various international academies across the planet and wanted to help educate children and give them a better future. By January 1973, he was in Iran, teaching at the prestigious Tehran American School. Throughout his life, William's chosen career as an international educator took him on a whirlwind tour across the globe. He went on to teach in Lebanon, Spain, Greece, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela, shaping young minds while immersing himself in vastly different cultures. From 1992 to 2002, in one of his longest stretches of teaching, William spent a full decade at Jakarta International School in Indonesia, solidifying his reputation as a seasoned teacher with a talent for adapting to new environments. In 2009, William traveled once again, and this time settled in London, taking up a position at the South Bank International School, where he taught history and geography. He remained there for 4 years, a respected, and as we know now, deeply sinister figure in the academic world.
I want y'all to understand that the reason why I'm playing this part is because it will all correlate with everything that he did throughout his career. Throughout. Oh, he was teaching, all right. He was teaching. Yeah. So I don't want y'all like, what's this got to do? It's got a lot to do with it. It does.
This 2013 marked William's final move to Nicaragua, where he joined the American Nicaraguan School in Managua. Alongside his teaching career, William was an avid basketball coach and led student trips to destinations as far-flung as Bahrain, Turkey, Africa, Costa Rica, Nepal, Panama, and Jordan. And despite his jet-setting lifestyle, William maintained homes in 2 vastly different places, the bustling heart of London, England, and the quiet, picturesque retreat of Hilton Head Island in America. But although William seemed like somebody who cared deeply for the well-being of children and wanted to provide them with a proper education and a head start in life, he had a darker side. It seemed as though William liked children a little bit too much. It's almost unbelievable, but despite William bouncing between schools for over 40 years, his dark, checkered past never caught up with him. Neither did the crimes that he kept on committing. No one seemed to know, or even care, that when William got his first teaching job, he was already a convicted offender. Back in 1969, while working as a teacher's aide in Long Beach, California, William was charged with lewd and lascivious behavior for touching the of boys as young as 7 while teaching them how to swim. And after he was reported to the police for these gropings, William found himself arrested and in court. When he pleaded guilty, he put on a whole act of remorse, telling his probation officer that he felt repelled and humiliated by what he'd done. He also admitted that he had started young boys when he was just 14 years old, while he was a Boy Scout. But the officer wasn't buying William's sad defense, and he labeled him a mentally disordered offender, predicting that his dream of working in education had probably been, quote, shattered by his conviction. Yeah, if only. Now, instead of serving a lengthy prison sentence for attacking those boys as young as 7 years old, William Vahey was already out of jail in just 90 days. By 1970, at the age of 20, he was officially on the offenders register, meaning he was supposed to notify authorities whenever he changed addresses, but it seems like he never did. And no one cared to check. According to the National Post, when California put its registry online in 2004, William Vahey's name wasn't even included because he had long since left the state. With that problem conveniently erased from his record, William went on to earn a bachelor's degree in political science from California State University. By 1972, just 2 years after his probation ended, he was off to Iran to teach at the American School in Tehran. From there, he bounced to elite schools in Beirut, Madrid, and Athens before landing in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia in 1980. There, he taught the children of U.S. oil workers at Saudi Aramco. By this point, William was married to a woman named Jean, a respected figure in the international school circuit. In 1981, they had their first child together, a young boy, followed by another 2 years later. With a picture-perfect family and a rapidly growing career, no one questioned a thing. William's...
Y'all remember yesterday or the other day when I did my live? And that pedo said that the Leave It to Beaver picture is what helps them get away with what they get away with. Y'all remember that? See, men have been using women and their family as beards for a very long time. This is nothing new. A lot of people, this younger generation, they think that everything started with them. Well, unfortunately, it didn't. It didn't start with them. It didn't start with this generation. No, it didn't. Men have been using their wives, their children's mothers, their children, their jobs, their careers to mask their deviant behavior, their deviant actions for hundreds of years, since the beginning. Oh, well, he's married. He can't be, but he is. But he's got children. He's not happy. Yes, he is. Having a child does not stop the deviant desires. Having a wife does not mean that he is not playing for the other side. You can put it that way. It's not what that means. We have been being used for beards a very long time. And that Leave It to Beaver stuff, that's where they want to go first. Because they know that anybody that is trying that hard to, to give the persona of a perfect home, perfect family, is going to continue to do that once the damage is done. They just keep it a secret. And that is how it perpetuates from one generation to the next. That is how a male child that's been violated by grandparents or parents or uncles or whatever starts to do it in their life. Because it's just been ignored, pushed aside. He was punished for having said something. Do I agree with that? No, I don't, but that's just a fact. I feel like if you do something to me that hurts me, I got to be one sick cookie to turn around and do it to other people. To me, that goes against humanity itself. But it's a fact. And it's one that we have to keep our eyes open to combat. Let's continue.
Seemed like your perfect school teacher. He was kind to the children. He was beloved by all children and parents. He had a loving wife and children of his own. But there was a deep, deep darkness behind that facade. In 1992, the Vaheys relocated to Jakarta International School, or JIS, in Indonesia, a prestigious institution backed by the Australian, UK, and US embassies. Within 3 years, Jean had climbed the ranks to deputy head. while William was teaching middle school world history. At first, to everybody there, he seemed like a typical teacher, but after a while, his behavior with young boys started raising eyebrows. Senior teachers at JIS later told The Guardian in their reporting that there had been multiple reports made against William Vahey that just didn't sit right with him. Reports that stated that William had insisted on sleeping in tents with boys during hiking trips. Reports that stated that William took 6 students into his room overnight to sleep with him. And the fact that he always pushed for all-boy groups on outdoor excursions. One trip in particular set off alarm bells. In May 1996, William led a 5-day outdoor adventure for around 90 students, all about 14 years old. The trip included hiking, rock climbing, and rafting near the Jatilar Dam, about 70 kilometers east of Jakarta. When they arrived, William split the students into groups of around a dozen, mixing boys and girls. But when it came to sleeping arrangements, he insisted on staying in the same small tent as his group of students, despite the fact that teachers were obviously given their own tents. After the trip, a teacher overheard some boys saying that it was weird that they had to share a trip with William. Unsettled, that teacher decided to report the incident to Bruce Leiper, the middle school principal. And
y'all see that? How many of you guys do y'all think the parents really, really did something about it? Besides, my kid said he was weirded out. And then they just took their child and never gave access anymore. No, we have to do more than that. Just taking your baby and not giving access anymore, that's not enough. First of all, your child needs counseling now. He needs to, or she needs to get it out. They need to tell somebody what happened, and then they need to be told and made to understand that what happened to them is not right. First of all, it goes against nature. Second of all, it goes against God's teachings. Third, well, God's teachings might be first. Let me correct myself. It goes against God and everything that he says. It goes against nature. It goes against morality. They need to be told that. And they need to be made to know that they did nothing wrong. They did nothing wrong to make that happen. Because that's one of the things that these pedos that they do. The first thing that they say is, if you tell anybody, I'll tell them you did it to me and you'll be in trouble. You understand what I'm saying? And to an immature mind, they can't see the manipulation. They can't see how diabolical this person is moving. Because what children see is the admiration that this person, this adult, is getting. Mommy and daddy are looking at this man like he's the greatest. He's the best teacher. He's doing all these great things with us. That's all a kid sees. And then they hear this monster telling them, if you go and tell your mom or your dad, you saw how your dad shook my hand. You saw how your mom was smiling at me. They'll believe me. They'll believe the adult over a kid. So you better not say anything. Now do this. And be quiet while I do that. Y'all understand? It's totally sickening. So how many parents do y'all think went that extra mile? Because I dare say if they had, that map wouldn't look like that. I don't care how blurry it is. Okay, y'all see the red. Y'all see it. That map wouldn't look like that if the parents went that mile and then another mile and went as many miles as they needed to make sure that their child was made whole again. was made to understand that everything that happened to them, one, is not their fault, and two, that they are believed and that they're still loved, still seen as the apple of their parents' eyes, and that they're going to be protected and fought for. That's what we need to say. Thank you, Queen Tina. That is, you know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do, or else this map wouldn't look like this.
Jeff Smith, the vice principal, but that wasn't an easy decision. Gene Vahey held a senior position not only in the jazz community, but also the international school circuit. The teacher admitted to The Guardian, "I was concerned my actions might affect my employment and promotional opportunities in the future." But when The Guardian reached out to Leiper and Smith, those principals, years later, neither of them remembered anybody flagging concerns about Williams' tent-sharing habits. Leiper did, however, recall an incident from around 1998.
Y'all see that? Y'all see the blind eye? Nobody remembered. How do you forget some shit like that? Nobody remembered any red flags being mentioned. What? Good morning, Queen. Good morning, Queen Pam. Y'all see what I'm saying? Queen Buttercup, I saw you too earlier, boo. I highlighted as y'all came in because I didn't want to interrupt what everybody was watching. But I saw my queens come in here. Thank you, guys. But y'all see the blind eyes? Nobody remembered. You a lie. You remember. You're just a coward. You're so worried about, these parents are so more worried about being embarrassed than doing what they're supposed to do for their children. It's utterly ridiculous. I'm not putting embarrassment in front of my kid. I'm not. I find out something has happened to my kid, they're going to have to lock me up to keep me from getting to that person and making sure either they get locked up or you better lock me up, because you're going to have to do it sooner or later, because I'm going to get downright stupid. Man, listen. Man, shit. Let's continue.
Two young boys got sick on a school trip, and William took them into his room overnight to recover. Leiper confronted William at the time, later saying, "We had a long conversation with him, and I made it clear that under no circumstances was this to ever happen again, and that it was dangerous." But at the time, he didn't suspect anything sinister. He was also quoted as saying, "We had no suspicion that Bill was up to anything, but..."
Y'all hear the contradiction there? Y'all hear that contradiction? We warned him that nothing of this sort is ever to happen again, and we told him how dangerous it is. Oh, but wait a minute. We didn't suspect anything. What? Like, seriously. Seriously. And we wonder why that map looked like that. I don't wonder why that map looked like that anymore. I really don't. Y'all noticed up here at the top of the map where his pointer finger is, right? And y'all see the three really, really, really dark red points. That is... what states do y'all think that is? What states do y'all think those are? To me, it looks like Illinois and Michigan. To me. And the other one I think might be Minnesota. I'm not sure. But those three, that's right up there at the top where his pointer finger is. Makes a lot of sense. Since I've been in this sector, this true crime sector, and the atrocities that are being committed, and the way that the S offenders are allowed to, be on punishment and then get to go outside and play. Let's continue.
knew this could be a problem. Wherever William went, he made sure that everybody knew who was in charge. William wasn't just another teacher. He carved out his own little kingdom in every school that he worked at. He could be moody and aggressive with his colleagues, constantly butting heads over how lessons should be taught and refusing to compromise on scheduling issues. Some teachers saw him as arrogant and full of himself, while others just thought that he wasn't the greatest at his job. Most people figured out quickly that avoiding William altogether was the best way to keep the peace. But when it came to the students, especially the young boys, William knew how to be the fun teacher. He built a culture that in this classroom we do things differently, and we will keep that in the classroom. Wink, wink, said a colleague at South Bank International, where William taught in London.
For that billion people died at 1/6 of our world population, let's say, wouldn't you consider that a very significant event for that 1/6 of the population that dies? You know, one of your problems is you come from a first world environment. The dying doesn't happen in your neighborhood. Let me ask the question. May I please? I think you'll find that the people living in Africa who are doing the dying have a very different viewpoint than your elitist attitude from the rich and wealthy first world nations. Of course you do. Do you ever heard they say 1 million people is not a great loss? We can survive. We can survive 1/3 of the Europeans. No problem.
We did survive 1/3 of the Europeans dying. In 40 years, population not standing that. 40 years.
The topic is can we survive having half our people die? Yes, we can perhaps. But the issue is that offering a great threat to mankind? As we have 1/5 of our population dying, that's a great threat to mankind. It's not saying we're going to destroy all of everybody. We're going to say that we have to be defensive right now against threats to mankind like these.
So basically,
May think you're difficult, but
basically what was happening there was he was getting into a word salad battle with a female teacher. He was being contradictory to what all the research that she had done, because he wanted to be the elite teacher. He had to be on top, but he only exerted that kind of energy towards females. So his kind of monster was created when he was a child. And he has perpetuated this throughout his life. I dare wonder how he must have treated his wife. Right? That really makes me wonder, because when it came to the boys, there was no argument at all. Oh, he was a sweetie pie. But if you dare spoke against him or anything that he said, he became controversial and argumentative. That ain't for nothing. He wants to ostracize the females. He wants to put them in a mindset that they don't want to be bothered with him. So they just as soon stay away. But this particular female teacher right here wasn't going for it. Not initially. She just wasn't. She had a point to prove. She had something to say, and he didn't like it. He would have been all right with just having a classroom full of boys. And like y'all heard, when it came to the camping trips, even though there were girls on these excursions, by the end of the day, he had separated them meticulously. It's disgusting. Let's continue.
Think you're wonderful. It was all a part of his grooming act. With parents and school leaders, William played a completely different role. The charming, responsible, upstanding teacher. In Venezuela, he earned a reputation as a generous, trustworthy guy, running Saturday morning basketball games for students, parents, and staff. In Indonesia, he made a point of attending church services with students' families, which former colleagues now suspect was just another tactic to gain their trust. He also loved casually mentioning his wife's high status in the...
Y'all see that? Not only was he grooming the kids, but he's grooming the parents too. And I laugh to keep from crying, because this is truly, and I really get sick of hearing this word, but when you're covering true crime and when you're talking about pedos, it is so appropriate, right? People throw this word around like they breathe, right? But it doesn't describe everything, but in this case it does. This man was truly diabolical. He truly, truly was. Because like I just said, he wasn't just grooming. He wasn't only grooming the children. He was grooming the parents too. Isn't that something? Just sick. Sick. But it was necessary for what he wanted, for how he moved. Let's continue.
International school world, as if that somehow made him more credible or trustworthy. And this was William's pattern. Once William had convinced everybody that he was a stand-up guy, he would start a travel club if the school didn't already have one. These trips gave him exactly what he wanted: easy access to children and almost total control. Even with a group of 36 students, he somehow persuaded his bosses that he only needed one other teacher to chaperone. If anyone questioned him, he'd brush off their concerns, saying local guides would help out. And of course, he handpicked which teacher would accompany him, dangling the promise of another trip if they played along with his rules. When trip planning began, William controlled every single detail. He was in charge of the accommodations, deciding who slept where, and he made sure that he had access to all of the room keys. At night on these trips, he'd pick which boys that he wanted to and would give them special food or drinks. And if these boys started feeling off or sick or drowsy, he'd dismiss it as food poisoning or dehydration, then either bring them with him into his room to stay the night, or he'd go to their room to stay with them. An official review in London later found that William deliberately targeted the most vulnerable kids, children with learning disabilities, language barriers, or troubled home lives. And one colleague who had gone on a trip with William recalled that he always carried a personal camera, a camera that he would never let anyone else touch. No doubt, that camera was used to take photographs of his victims. And William didn't just children. Sometimes he made sure that the other adults were out of the way too. One teacher later recalled when talking about a hiking trip that they were on with 30 kids and William that, quote, Bill came to my tent with a camping mug. I took a mouthful and immediately knew there was something in it. Bill insisted that I drink the whole mug, saying the guides needed the mugs for dinner. I drank the whole thing, and then I don't recall until waking up the next morning. I'm assuming I was drugged to get me out of the picture, end quote. While living in Indonesia, the Vahis...
Y'all hear that? This nasty thing done started rugging the staff, making sure they out for the count for the night. Absolutely. Making sure they're out for the count, getting them out the way. No eyes, nothing to repeat. Y'all feel me? It's diabolical. There is nothing I'm sorry, but there is nothing that somebody can bring me to drink and you say to me, no, drink all of it. Drink all. What? I don't want no more. Especially once I take a sip of it and I can tell something's wrong with it. Man, I'm not going to finish drinking that. Like, you've got to be the most pathetic person. Listen, y'all. If my husband makes me a cup of coffee and if it don't taste the way I want it to taste, I'm not drinking all of it. Doesn't mean I'm not saying I think he put something in it. What I'm saying is something as simple as that. Let alone if I think something is wrong with it. But here I am on a camping trip. And Mr. Weirdo brings me a canteen to drink. And I taste it and I'm like, yeah, I don't want no more. Well, you got to drink all of it because they need the canteen. Go pour that shit out there and then go give it to somebody then. What do you mean? You need the canteen? Okay. We're on nothing but grass and opportunity. Pour it out. Go give the canteen to whomever may need it. What do you mean? It makes me question. It makes me question their level of maturity or comprehension. Like, you still didn't have to drink that. Yet they did.
William and his wife and their 2 children seemed like the perfect expatriate family. They had a home in Country Woods, a gated community in South Jakarta with open green spaces where their 2 sons could run around and play. And their house quickly became a hotspot for children, especially for sleepovers. With a pool table, the best video games, and the latest movies, it was the ultimate hangout spot.
William Vahey seemed like a very, very nice, sweet, and caring man. I was extremely shocked reading the news. It was very, very unexpected. I could never believe that a teacher like that or a man like that could do these acts towards young boys at all. I was extremely shocked reading the news. I had to double check the site that I was on to actually see that it was on the FBI page, because I was thinking if this was some side of sick joke that someone had pulled or something like that, so I had to keep looking up to actually see which website I was on while reading the news. I went to a trip with him to Mexico with I think we're about 20 students, both boys and girls. It was basically half and half. We went to see cultural sites, historical sites, whitewater rafting. He included himself in every single activity we did with boys and with girls. So he seemed like a very normal teacher.
But of course, there was a dark reason behind William's generosity towards the children. These sleepovers were the perfect opportunity for him to target young boys. One of those kids, who we're going to call John, later came forward to share his story with The Guardian. Even as an adult, the memories still haunt John. One night when he was around 14, he and a few friends crashed in the Vahey's living room for movie night. But as they were watching, something weird happened. They all started feeling really tired and dozing off, way earlier than expected. John was the first to wake up the next morning. Groggy and disoriented, he looked around and quickly realized something was off. He was now wearing a different pair of shorts. Even stranger, one of his friends was now wearing his shorts, and when that friend checked, he realized his underwear was missing too. Over the next few months, things started clicking into place. We pieced together unusual incidents on prior sleepovers, John said. We strongly suspected that Bill was r***ing us. William had a whole nighttime routine developed. Right before bed, he'd hand out Oreo cookies and glasses of water, turning this into a little game. Whoever finished first got dibs on the best mattress. He even took it a step further, inspecting the children's mouths to make sure that they had swallowed every part of their cookies.
Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? These boys were waking up after, first of all, not even realizing that they had fallen asleep. Let's start there. Okay? Because I dare say there's no TV. This is straight, back of the woods camping type of situation. Right? And so unlike when your kids lay down watching TV, they doze off. You know what I mean? Like they doze off. But in this situation, I did camping. My brothers and I, we went camping every summer. And the boys were in separate cabins than girls. And the girls that had become my friends, excuse me, we would lay there and just talk quietly until we slowly fell off to sleep, right? He made sure that happened with these boys. Checking their mouths to make sure that they chewed up the cookies? Really? Like, this is some sick shit. And then they're waking up, no underwear on, but their shorts. He had put the shorts on the wrong kids. That's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. Like, seriously. Let's see what happened.
Back, it was clear that something was in the cookies. At the time, though, none of the boys felt confident enough to accuse Vahey of attacking them. It was a tight-knit expatriate community, and avoiding his house altogether wasn't exactly an option. Then came the night that changed everything. John's parents had left town for a weekend, so he stayed with the Vaheys. That night, William pulled him aside in the kitchen. Quote, Bill handed me a cookie and said, maybe you and I could have an Oreo eating competition. I felt helpless because I knew what he was doing, but my parents were out of town and uncontactable. So I was facing an adult who was supposed to be taking care of me. End quote. Panicked, John ate the cookie. Right away, something felt wrong. He later said, quote, I could taste bitter stuff in the back of my teeth, end quote. He didn't know how to get out of the situation, so he went to the bathroom, and that's when he found the evidence. Quote, I saw crushed up blue pills in my molars. I picked out what was left, but I had swallowed most of it. Within 10 minutes, I was out cold and only woke up the next day, end quote. When his parents got home,
this kid was scared. This kid felt trapped, he said. This kid felt like he had no other choice because this monster was babysitting him. I'm telling y'all right now, ain't no man babysitting my kids. Dead ass. It's my word. No man is babysitting my children, my grandkids or otherwise. You're not the dad. You're not the uncle, the brother, because Doobie is an uncle, even though he's only 14 years old. He's still an uncle. But some man from outside of my tribe, some man from outside of my home, some dude that's just supposed to be some good ass teacher and all it, really? And then I don't care. I don't care who it is. Listen here, y'all. Understand me when I say this. I don't give a damn who it is. You teach your child that no means no. You're going to have to choke me with it because my mama taught me that if I say no, it means no. And she going to figure it out later and she going to fix it later. But I don't have to eat that if I don't want to. Okay, it like even to the point of dinner, right? If the babysitter makes something that your baby don't want to eat, let's just put it on the good stuff first, right? Not the monsters. But this is a like, you know, a good girlfriend, you know, a great babysitter. Because my kids had a very good babysitter. Her name was Nicole. I love her to death. And let's say Nicole makes the kids, although my kids didn't go to the babysitter without dinner. You know what I mean? And they took a bag of snacks. Or let me correct myself because, see, my babysitter came into my house. My kids didn't go anywhere. Nicole would pack her and her daughter a bag, and they would come and stay the night at my house. And she only stayed the night because she had a baby. She had a little girl. So I wasn't going to pack them up and send them home when I'm coming in from the club. No, I'm not doing that. Y'all stay the night. Get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so let's say, for example, the kids say, well, Auntie Nicole, can we have a snack? And Nicole go to give them a snack, but they don't want that particular snack. Okay, well then you just don't get a snack because this is what is being served. That's how I, you know, teach my kids. Or unless you want to give them an option. You know what I'm saying? Do you want some honey buns? You want some cookies? You want some fruit? You know what I'm saying? That's different. But this guy here gave no options. That's number one. And made this kid, gave off some kind of vibe that this kid felt trapped. He had no other choice. My gosh. Shame on these parents. Shame on them. And I hope they knew it before they met their demise. I hope when they met their demise, they went in shame.
John told them everything. He described what had happened that weekend, plus all the weird incidents from previous sleepovers. We didn't ever doubt that he was telling the truth.
From previous sleepovers. Did y'all hear that? From previous sleepovers. What? What's wrong with parents just sending their kids all willy-nilly to these sleepovers? Whatever happened to just a few hours of play? Now it's time for you to take little Johnny on home, put him in the tub, and put him in the bed. What the world?
It took us time to process it and decide what we thought would be the best course of action. John's mother said, "My husband and I wanted to go over to Bill's house and beat the shit out of him, but we chose not to. Ultimately, I made the decision to speak."
Why not? Why y'all chose not to? Why did y'all do that? Why did y'all choose? Oh, Lord, that goes against everything I believe in. I'm sorry, y'all. Why did y'all choose not to? Why did y'all choose not to go over there and beat shit out of him? I don't understand. I'm saying, what? Y'all couldn't agree on the weapon? I don't get it. Y'all couldn't agree with who was going to drive? Make me understand. Right? Like, seriously, make me understand.
To the head of school and the middle school principal. She met with the headmaster, Niall Nelson, but things didn't go as she hoped. He seemed skeptical, she said, and with Jean Vahey being deputy head of the school, one of the most powerful positions in the school faculty, it wasn't exactly a fair fight. It was her son's word against one of the most influential families in the school community. She felt stuck. Instead of pushing for immediate action, she told Nelson she wouldn't escalate things unless there was another report.
Y'all see that? And this is why our kids feel desperate, unheard, unbelieved, and unprotected. This is why. This sorry ass bitch said, well, okay, well, you know, we ain't gonna do nothing until another report comes. What? What do you mean? You're not going to do anything until another child is violated. Really? I'm sorry. This is not one of those instances where it's power in numbers. It's strength in numbers. You can go fuck yourself with that shit. I wouldn't give a damn if it was just my one kid and me. We coming. And I'm going to tear this shit down until somebody hears me. What? We'll keep quiet until another child comes forward having been violated? Like, you got to be kidding me. Instead of, oh, that's how they want to nip it in the bud. Instead of working on it and fixing it while it's just one kid, we're gonna double the trouble and wait until we have another one. Oh, okay. And keep in mind, y'all, these are just the ones that they know about. Always keep that in mind. Like those pedos that I told you guys about the other day, excuse me, it is never only the ones in the front line. There are always victims behind the veil, behind the darkness, always. Like one of them said, the first time I got arrested was just the first time I got arrested. It was not the first time I violated. I had 100 to 150 victims by the time I first got arrested. Y'all heard it. Come on, man. Really? Let's continue.
Police stand up then. She said, Jeff Smith, who by that time had been promoted to middle school principal, later admitted that the whole thing sounded really bizarre. That's his words at the time. The idea that William was cookies seemed unbelievable, especially since there was no solid proof. Still, Jeff Smith had a gut feeling. I was holding a pretty critical piece of information, he admitted. He took his concerns to Nelson, and together they decided on the weakest possible response. Quote, the most concrete thing we did was ask all chaperones on travel club trips, and specifically William, that if anything unusual happened, like kids getting sick on trips or weird sleeping arrangements, I wanted to know about it. I was pretty direct about that with him.
Ooh, He was big and bad. I was pretty direct about that. You better come tell me if some kids get sick. Why kids getting sick, sir? It's the why kids are getting sick. It was bizarre. Does that mean you didn't believe them? Because again, y'all remember that pedo in the content the other day, he said that the parents not believing the children is their best, what did he say? Their best friend. The parents that don't believe the kids are their best friends. This guy right here, this vice principal just said, I did think it was a little bizarre. And I was really direct when I said, come and tell me if some kids get sick. What the fuck you gonna do about it, big guy? What are you gonna do? Why are you allowing it to continue in the first place? Let's continue.
Smith said. For his part, Nelson, one of the other school administrators, now semi-retired and living in England, completely denies that John's mother ever told him about the cookies. There was no specific discovery of any or Oreo cookies that was presented to me, he insisted in an email. According to him, John's mother simply said her son had woken up feeling drowsy with his clothes in disarray. She didn't want to make a formal complaint, and without evidence, Nelson felt like his hands were tied.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Well, she didn't really accuse anybody. She just said, you know, my son woke up and his clothes was, his underwear was off and his shorts was on his partner over there, and he was wearing his partner's shorts. But yeah, no formal complaint was ever filed. The fuck did you need? Did you need to see? Did you need to see this monster in the act? Is that what you needed, you sick son of a bitch? At this point, I'm thinking he might be one too. How about y'all? Anybody who is so complacent, so lackadaisy about it, I'm going towards, yeah, he's probably one too. Because what we're going to find out is how they protect one another. Absolutely. Absolutely. Church administration, school administration, judges, police officers, lawmakers, they protect one another. Why is it so hard? If what I just said is not true, then somebody explain to me then why the hell is it so hard to get lawmakers to pass bills making consequences and sentencing more stringent, more stronger for these monsters, if what I'm saying is not true? Nothing else makes sense. This is not me thinking I know what I'm talking about. This is not me thinking that I'm the smartest or the smartest person in the room, the sharpest knife in the drawer. No, this is me using my common sense and everything that I've shared with y'all to come to the conclusion. Nothing else makes sense. How is it that they will go far and beyond to keep our kids locked up? Starting with just being a public nuisance, right? Just being kids out there doing, this is how they start, right? This is how they start. Because my kid wrong, goddamn it, I'm kicking his ass. And shit, if he break the law, I'm taking him to the motherfuckers. Don't come to my house embarrassing me in my neighborhood. I'll bring him to your door. Don't come to mine. I'm going to bring my son to your door because I believe in consequences. I believe you do something wrong, damn it, you got to face the consequences. I'm not going to hide mine because all that does is perpetuate itself into something worse. So these motherfuckers right here, how is it so easy for them to take our children from 13 years old throwing snowballs at moving cars to, by the time they're 17, they're deemed menaces to society, and now they've got to do 5 to 7 to 15 years for some dumb shit. Compared to these monsters is what I mean. Compared to what these monsters are doing, compared to the time that these monsters are sentenced to. If it's so goddamn easy, if what I'm saying is not true, why is it so hard to get these bills passed and made a law? Why is it so hard to create a more stringent and a more serious consequential sentencing guideline for these monsters if what I'm saying is not true? Just saying. Exactly, Queen Tina. Exactly. Absolutely. Just is what it is. Queen Pam said, I'm not understanding why the parents weren't going, you meant crazy, to believe and protect their own son. Exactly. Exactly. Just saying.
Also claimed that Smith never mentioned anything about or cookies to him. In his view, Smith's changes to field trip policies had nothing to do with William Vahey, but were just a part of a routine review. Now, years later, Nelson has changed his tune. I am deeply dismayed and angry at the harm and pain it is now clear Bill Vahey caused to so many boys and their families, he said.
Well, ain't that a trip? Ain't that a trip? Now the motherfucker wants to apologize. Now he wants to say how sick this bastard was. Yeah, you're about 1,000 kids too goddamn late, you sick son of a bitch. You blind bastard. You too late, fucker. Okay? You too late. He's done the damage and he's created more monsters. Thanks to all of them. That's what he's done. He's created more monsters because there are more children that have not been counseled, spoken to, helped. It's sad. It's sad. He's created more monsters that will find a girl, make her his wife, have a couple of kids, and wear that beard proudly. Wear that beard proudly. It's too late, stupid.
For the people who worked alongside William Vahey, that anger came too little too late. Many of his former colleagues, including Smith, have been tormented by the thought that they didn't do enough. I feel that on some level, I and others failed, Smith admitted. We have to figure out how to have those conversations when all we have is a notion, even if we don't have concrete evidence. The current head of the school, a man named Tim Carr, who's been in charge since 2010, insists that the school has put into place stronger protocols to ensure maximum protection of our students. But for John, those actions don't erase the past. I feel like a lot of people probably knew and didn't do a thing about it. He said it wouldn't have taken much. All they had to do was put in a call to the U.S. Embassy. He was a convicted but no one ever did.
Y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? He was a registered SO. All they had to do to get him kicked out, never to return, was to make one damn phone call to the U.S. Embassy. That's all they had to do. That's it. No questions asked. They coming to get him. They're going to extradite him and let the United States deal with him. Because his first citizenship was to the United States. He gained dual citizenship as his career expanded. But he first belonged to the U.S. as a military brat. Like, seriously? Seriously. And they did nothing simply because they didn't have concrete evidence. Kiss my ass. Your kid said they were touched. Your kid said he woke up, his underwear was gone, and he was wearing his buddy's shorts, and his buddy was wearing his shorts. Don't tell me nobody said nothing. Don't tell me you didn't have concrete evidence. Yes, the hell you did. A kid said it. I'm sorry. Ain't nothing thicker than that for me. I don't need nothing. You could call that running water, let alone something concrete. It could be as fluid as water. I'm believing my kid. Show me some proof. I just told you what my kid said. That's all the proof I need. Now, either you do something about it or I'm going to. You want to sit here and wait for something concrete? You go ahead. You're going to find him with a concrete block in his dome. That's what you're going to find. That's that concrete you're going to end up with. Fucking with me and mine. Uh-huh. He liked going camping so much, that's where I put his ass forever. You like laying down in the woods? Okay, here you go. Here you go. Man, listen.
And so William kept getting away with it. Keep in mind, all of this was happening at one of his former schools. You had students talking about William acting inappropriately with them. You had parents making these complaints, other teachers seeing what William was doing. Everybody's noticing these red flags, and no one did anything. No one spoke up. No one made a formal report. Nobody informed the authorities. In fact, they didn't even tell the next school that contacted them about William's employment anything about the allegations against him. They just decided to move on and forget that any of these allegations had happened in the first place.
Y'all hear that?
It's the same as, but you said we have the 3 billion before we get too many, so why can't we keep having it's the same as your argument. It's the same as your argument, you just discussed it. It's logical. Next question. Why, if I'm a poor person in India and I have no government assistance, no relief, I have 2 daughters, and I need sons because my daughters will leave my home and move in with their businesses.
Metropolitan Police investigated, they concluded that William acted alone. We're going to talk about theories on that in a little bit. But Jean, to this day, never responded to interview requests about her husband's case, and most of his crimes seem to have happened on school trips.
See that, y'all? Good morning, Shannon. Queen. King. That's a king, right? Let me know, Shannon. I can't tell by your profile, love. I apologize. But Shannon is a unisex name. Just like Sean. Tell me so that I can address you properly, love. Shannon, are you a male or a female? A king or a queen? Tell me. I'd like to know. Yes, ma'am. A guy. All right, King Shannon. Thank you, boo. Good Lord, we got some male perspective up in here finally. Please join in. Join in. We're talking about a particular pedo that was allowed his entire career to go. Tina, what I tell you about spelling my name like that? I'm just joking, baby. I'm not scolding you like a child. I'm being funny. SB, boo. Tina, just do SB. I really do not like my name being misspelled. I don't. I don't. I always say, y'all gonna talk about me, just spell my name right. You know, that's all I want. Just give me proper representation. But yes, y'all, we got a king in the house. Yes, we do. Yes, and queens honor kings. Absolutely. Yes, we do. So this monster here was allowed to spend his entire career being a pedo, from one country to another, from one side of the world to another. He literally went on tour with his career, and wherever he was, he left a tribe of violated children. And we're simply discussing how he was allowed, due to red flags, blind eyes, turning their head, not admitting, not believing whatever was told to them. And now they're talking about his wife. His wife was indeed his beard. I was discussing earlier, King Shannon, that women and children, families, wives, girlfriends, baby mamas, babies have not just become, with this generation, the beard for the DL or the joyful men. There have been beards being worn for decades upon decades. It didn't just happen. Men of all races, of all walks of life, have been using women, getting married and having children, and using children as beards forever to cover up their lifestyle. Rather legal or illegal, they've been doing it forever. So that's what we're discussing. And right now, as you come in, the wife of this monster is being spoken about, and she tried to convince people that she knew nothing about it.
She wasn't around. But many parents, teachers, and victims can't help but wonder, did William use Jean's status in the international school as a shield for his crimes? Even if she had no idea what he was doing, her influence might have made him feel untouchable. People didn't want to cross her, not just because of her power, but because of her charisma, said a source from the Jakarta International School. An official review later found that William once threatened a department head after he had received a bad review, saying that Jean's influence could put a concrete ceiling on their career. Jeff Smith, that former colleague, summed it up. You knew who his wife was all the time. Without hard, concrete evidence, it felt like he was bulletproof.
So these were a bunch of scary-ass punks, huh? These mother suckers chose to safeguard their career over innocent children, over innocent minor boys, because that was his cup of tea. This is what these cowards chose over safeguarding, which was what they promised that they would do, but they didn't. They instead safeguarded this monster and saved their own asses. No pun intended. Because he didn't like them grown. He wanted the little boys. But isn't that sad? That is really sad. that these fuckers was more worried about their own career instead of blowing the whistle, taking it to the embassy. That's all they had to do, was make a call to the embassy. Whatever position his wife was in, she could not crumble the United States embassy. She couldn't. That was our White House over there. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? The equivalence of it all. Taking it to the United States embassy was like taking it to the FBI. Like before Chief Cheeto got in office, the DOJ used to be something to be proud of. DOJ, the Department of Justice, used to be something to be proud of. Now, that whole administration is nothing but a joke. It's a joke. But at this time, that's all they had to do. That's it. And these punk ass motherfuckers chose not to do nothing. Nothing. And blame it on not having quote unquote concrete evidence. How preposterous. It's really sad. Let's continue.
2009, Jean had moved to London, taking over as CEO of the European Council of International Schools. William was eager to follow her and applied for a job at South Bank International School, casually name-dropping Jean's new position in his application. He sold himself as an educator who took students on life-changing trips, boasting that his spring break adventures offered experiences far outside a typical family vacation, and that he had a, quote, special appreciation for the middle school age group, end quote. His hiring process was shockingly casual. The job was never publicly advertised, and the interview was conducted by just one person, South Bank's principal, Terry Hedger. The background checks were, at best, sloppy. Authorities in Venezuela confirmed that William had no criminal record from his time there, but nobody checked the other countries that he had worked in. A report by Hugh Davis, a lawyer who later reviewed South Bank's hiring process, revealed that the school could have obtained William's U.S. criminal record.
Y'all see that? When something could be done, they didn't do it. And a lot of times it wasn't done because depending on where they were, this thing just wasn't even frowned upon. How sad is that? How sad is that? Because statistically speaking, United States is third in line with this kind of activity. On a national scale, China is first. Do y'all know that in parts of Tokyo, they literally have children in a window? Not like mannequins modeling clothes. No, they're on display. And you could literally, I want that one right there. You pay, they take you back to a room, and that's the one you'll have. It's disgusting. And then Russia is number 2. Russia's number 2. Russia is another place where they have child brides. The transgender situation of it all, they say, started in China. Understand what I'm saying. The transgender situation of it all, they say, started in China. They would literally have young male teenagers, young male boys dressed up to look like girls. You want me to drop the link, Kels? Is that what you're saying? Good morning, Kels. Good morning, Boo. Is that what you're saying, Boo? You want me to drop the link? Because I don't understand why you put that there. Nobody asked me to drop the link. Don't nobody never want to come up here. So, with that bit of piece of information, let's continue.
But only if he himself requested it. They asked him to do so. William never followed up. He never got a copy of the record, and they never followed up with him either. They just decided that it wasn't important. Even though if they would have seen that criminal record, they would have seen that in the past, he had already been convicted for children. But this wasn't just a South Bank problem. A broader investigation into international schools found that most institutions had a dangerously lax approach to recruitment. Few schools even attempted to check every country where a teacher had worked. Even today, tracking a teacher's criminal history across multiple countries remains a bureaucratic nightmare. William's glowing references didn't help either. A former administrator from Venezuela, where Gene had been head, reassured South Bank, saying, "Bill takes large groups every year on trips, and if there had been a problem at any time, it would have surfaced." And Niall Nelson, the headmaster of JIS while Vahey worked there, called him a consummate professional. He later insisted.
With that being said right there were literally newspaper clippings amongst all of these countries with his picture, with his name, calling him a pedo. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And his title was headmaster. That's what his title was in his job. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to be funny. That's what it says. Dead ass. But these people are telling these lies while there's literally newspaper articles about this pedo, about this monster. Sickening, man.
That this was an honest assessment at the time. So keep in mind, that Niall guy specifically knew there were allegations against William Vahey, and yet he said he was a consummate professional, and he wrote a glowing review for the South Bank school. So many of these former school officials just failed to mention that William had acted so unbecomingly with so many of the students, and that's partly why William was allowed to keep victimizing these children. Now, by the time that William arrived at South Bank in 2009, the school was a mess. Parents were frustrated by its leadership, teachers weren't being held accountable, and the place was basically running on autopilot. By 2011, a group of parents accused Cognita, the company that had recently purchased the school, of prioritizing profits over education, and William fit right into the chaos. Some teachers thought he was just an oddball. Quote, "It was like he had a traveling suitcase of lesson plans and his travel group," end quote. One teacher said, "Whatever school he came to, he would not deviate from that." Over the next 4 years, William led 11 trips, taking students to places like Nepal and Jordan. After every trip, he'd put on a slideshow for parents and staff. And one parent recalled how disturbing these slideshows were. Quote, "We couldn't believe what we were seeing. On the screen were pictures of boys in their trunks, a 15-year-old girl in her bikini. He gave a 15-year-old boy a Babe Magnet award. It was so uncomfortable," end quote. Teachers were noticing things too. Over the years, William's behavior was flagged on 4 separate trips. Reports ranged from seeing William take these sick boys to his room to spend the night to insisting on being completely alone with ill students. William was even reported for discussing inappropriate topics like with children. Hugh Davies, that attorney, in his late...
That topic was porn. Okay.
Report concluded that there was a, quote, "clear pattern of intrinsically inappropriate conduct," end quote, enough to have stopped William long before his crimes were exposed. And yet, once again, Nobody ever stopped him. So you had William giving these creepy slideshows to parents with their children in varying states of undress. You had all these parents and people that were on the trips with William reporting into the school authorities saying William's taking children to be alone with them. These kids are getting sick, and William's insisting he's the only one that should be with them. People are reporting that he's this weird oddball character. All of these signs, like from the creepy pictures to his behavior towards kids and the isolating the children, that definitely should have been enough to stop him. And yet just nobody did. In one rare instance, William actually did get in trouble, though. A parent had complained about an inappropriate comment that William had made to students, and as a result, he was pulled from the next trip. This was enough to send him into a tailspin. He emailed the principal of the school, Terry Hedger, venting about how the decision had, quote, really impacted my self-concept, end quote. He claimed that it would, quote, undermine my reputation and standing in the community, end quote. But the principal of the school, Terry Hedger, reassured William and said, quote, don't worry, your self-concept should not be affected. The problem is that some vindictive parents have found a way to put unfair pressure on the teachers, end quote.
Y'all hear that? They blame the parents. That is another way that these monsters are created. This is how another tactic of how they protect each other. Instead of reprimanding him, instead of giving him the greatest freaking tongue lashing that he ever deserved, and serving him with some consequences. Good morning, Queen Wanda. Instead of serving him with some consequences, they instead say, oh, no, buddy, it's okay. It's okay. You put your self-esteem right back where it belongs, because it's these disgruntled ass parents. They're really mad about something else, but they're going to lie on you, buddy. But I got it. It's okay. No, the fuck it's not okay. He's a goddamn child pedo, period. But this is how they protect one another. Like I said in my content the other night, this is what they do. Dignitaries, politicians, lawmakers, judges, police officers, school officials, clergy and their whole administration, the people that's handing you your menu at the restaurant. This is what they said out of their own mouths. I didn't read it. I listened. And that's what they said. He said, because hell, I was one. I was a waiter. Yes. This is how they protect one another. They minimize it. Most of the time, they totally contradict it, call it a lie, and it's allowed to just become an epidemic. And this guy was just an epidemic of himself. Wherever he went, he infected people around him with his nasty self.
Years later, when questioned about this response, Hedger admitted, I'm not able to give a justification or explanation to these comments. He told The Guardian that if he had known then what he knows now, he would have done a lot of things different. Sadly, detectives from Scotland Yard, which is essentially like the UK's FBI, eventually established that 53 young boys, aged 11 to 16, from that school in London, South Bank International, appeared unconscious in the digital photo archive that was eventually discovered in William's possession.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that?
Now, he would have done a lot of things different. Sadly, detectives from Scotland Yard, which is essentially like the UK's FBI, eventually established that 53 young boys, aged 11 to 16, from that school in London, South Bank International, appeared unconscious in the digital photo archive that was eventually discovered in William's possession at it.
53 young boys, just in the UK now, just in that part, just right there, in what the materials that they discovered. This man was all over each one of them continents. All over. All over. It's crazy.
His final teaching destination, Nicaragua, which we're going to discuss in a moment. Detectives then contacted the families of all the boys who had been on William's trips and posed an awful question to them. Do you want to know if your child was among the victims? Parents were told they could meet with a detective and a social worker assigned to their case in their homes, in a police station, or in the social workers' offices. One parent was quoted as saying, "My husband didn't think our son should go on the basis that you can't put the genie back in the bottle, not knowing the severity of what is in the photographs, whether it was full touching or not. I went on my own and had to decide whether to share what I was told with my husband and son. I had to ask myself, however awful it is, can I live with that?" End quote. But many decided not to find out. There's such a feeling of wanting to sweep it under the carpet. A source close to the school community told The Guardian, some people want to embrace it openly, while others don't want to talk about it ever again. By late 2013, William was in Nicaragua, planning his retirement. Everything seemed normal at the time. He was coaching basketball, emailing old colleagues about his new life, and even boasting that Jean, his wife, would be speaking at an education conference in Mexico. Then, in November of 2013, something changed. William's personal housekeeper stole some of his electronic devices from his home, and a few months later turned in a flash drive that they had discovered to school officials. And when they opened it, they were horrified. Inside were photos of at least 90 unconscious boys, partially dressed or completely. The image.
90. Now, full transparency, I don't know if those 53 that we just previously mentioned were in that 90, but that says 90. Thank God for whoever that was being a thief, because listen, I dare say that that's what helped blow his goddamn whistle. Like, I don't know if they was sent there on purpose. I don't know, and I frankly don't care. Good damn job. Good job. For a change, a thief did the right damn thing, right? Absolutely, King Shannon. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a fact. Absolutely. They are, I dare say, you know, when stuff started coming out about the industry a few years ago, when it was first about Will Smith, before the whole Diggy, and I call him Diggy, not Diddy, Diggy, Diggy Doo Doo. People were saying they were, I, I don't want to say that they were justifying it, but they were trying to explain, one, we need to get out of our heads that we, just because we know some details about our the people that we are fans of, whether it's actors, actresses, or the music industry, there are darker parts about them that we'll just never know, right? And so they were saying that when it comes to the rich, not necessarily the famous, because there are people that are famous that don't got any more money in they pocket than I do. But when it comes to the rich, not to mention the very rich, but when it comes to the rich, the wealthy, they have so much financial access to things that they get bored very easily. Anybody who follow what I'm saying, speak up. They get very bored very easily when they reach a certain pinnacle where they can have any woman that they want. They can have any man that they want. And it stays a secret. It's no problem. They could pay for secrecy. They could pay even for anonymity. You know, they get into all of the the S&M, the masks, and all of that kind of crazy stuff, right? But then they get bored. Right? They get bored. And so they like, yeah, I want something different. And before you know it, they have traveled down such a dark path where they start doing stuff that before they became these million and billionaires, they probably would never have fathomed. Now, I don't get all off into the, what's it called, the Illuminati and all that kind of stuff. I don't get off into that because I can't see it. If I can't see it, smell it, taste it, look at it, hear it, I'm not giving it any energy. What I will give energy is what I see these people doing, what I'm reading about in articles, what I'm listening to, what I hear them talk about other people. And it's not lost on me that they omit the fact that they participated in it as well, right? And so what these millionaires and billionaires that King Shannon has mentioned, they get bored as hell. If it's not already a fetish of theirs, let's just throw that out there. And they do unspeakable things to these children. Unspeakable. And we wonder why they kids running around all kind of addicts and acting all kind of crazy. I don't wonder, but y'all understand what I'm saying. Do y'all see, what's their names? Willow and what's the other one named? The son. Him. Don't y'all see how crazy they are? Y'all think that's just a personality trait? I think those kids are troubled. I think they've been traumatized. And it ain't got nothing to do with what they done, It's not about what's being said on the internet about their damn parents. No, I think these kids have seen something that they just shouldn't have. I really, really do. And they're not the only ones. They're not. And it's really sad. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. They've seen some things. Absolutely. Man, listen. And you know how it lets you know if I could just Jaden, right? Willow and Jaden. Yes. If I could just pivot a little bit, it kind of makes you say, thank you, God, that I never hit that $1 billion Powerball, right? Like, thank you. Because what would I have had to do? Like, once the whole shock of winning the Powerball has died down, might take me about 5 years for me to get used to it. But I'm just saying. Now you got the money to go and hobnob with folks you got more money than. Right? You got more money than people that you have watched on television. LL Cool J is not a billionaire. He's not. Been watching this man since I was 17 years old. Now I can go and stand in the same room that he's in, knowing that I got more money than he do. Okay, so now we're going to play with the toys that the billionaires play with, right? And you get invited to this party. Because believe it or not, once your name, your social security number hits a certain bracket, a certain income bracket, tax bracket, you have, unbeknownst to you, become a member of a society that you didn't even sign up for. Anybody understand where I'm coming from? Holla at me here. You become a member of a society you did not apply for. Send somebody to go find out about. Ask somebody to put your name on. Ask somebody to send you some literature on. Nope. It just automatically happens. And before you know it, people start knocking on your door, ringing your phone, and you have no idea who they are, where they came from, and why they're contacting you. Oh, but they're so excited to talk to Queen Lady Mysterious because she just hit this $700 billion Powerball lottery. And man, shit, we want to invite you to our gala. You have been formally invited to our black tie affair. And please bring one. Bring one what? Because see, in that type of situation, you can't just be assuming. Now, to us people, we think that means bring a date. No, that's not what that means. It means bring a kid. I'm telling y'all, I done read books about it. Man. And fiction depicts reality every day, all day. I have read books about what's going on in Detroit. I have read books about what's happening in Chicago. I read a series by Quan. That's another author. We were talking about books yesterday. I read a series by Quan. I think it's Quan. And he had the series called Animal. Oh, man. I love it to death. But there was a true motherfucker like Animal running around Harlem and Brooklyn and Queens through them projects. He made it out. He did. But he didn't make it out alive, unlike how the book depicted it. Shit is crazy, y'all. When they say bring one, they mean bring a kid, not a date. And they're gonna separate you from the kid that you brought with you. That is your sacrifice. Now, I'm not saying you won't get your kid back. I'm not saying that. I don't know. What I'm saying is if you do, that kid won't be the same. First and foremost, they're testing you. They're going to take the kid into another part of the party and they're going to watch you. They're going to have people watching you to see how you're reacting, having been separated from that child that you brought to that party. Because you walk in and there are no children, yet they asked you to bring one. So where the kids at? So they literally have people at these parties watching you while they take the kid that you brought way over there to another part of the mansion that you don't even know exists. And there's nothing happening to that kid. That kid is at a kid party, but you don't know that. And they are watching to see how if there's any urgency, if there's any panic, if there's any search that you're starting to commit, or if you just going on through the party like, woohoo, let's get this party started. I am with the people of the people. And just going to turn a blind eye to what's happening with your kid. You fuck around and do that. And that's where they know they got on one. It's a fact. Nobody got to believe me. I'm cool. I know what I know. And that's why I'm good with my husband going to work every day and we paying these bills and we don't owe nobody nothing and we're good. We got to pay our way into wherever we go. Well, don't put my name on nothing. Quintina said your kid will never be the same if your kid comes back. That is what she is saying. Absolutely. Queen Linda said facts. That's why I'm so against my son trying to become an actor on Disney Channel. Absolutely. You saw what happened to what's his name? Always talking about Diddy gave him the watch. That dude. Y'all know who I'm talking about, who used to act with Raven. Yo, dude is already flamboyant. He is very animated anyway, but I do think something happened to him. I told him to just focus on being a kid, and if it's meant, God will present it to you when you get older. Absolutely. Orlando, yes, Queen Linda, thank you. That dude is woohoo. He's quite strange. I don't think he's crazy, but I do believe that something happened to him. I believe Raven knows a lot more than she's ever gonna say. She's living. Right? Absolutely. But let's get back to this, y'all, before y'all think I'm crazy.
Is taken between 2008 and 2013 had been meticulously organized by William into folders labeled things like Panama trip, Costa Rica trip, and basketball trip. It was then when school officials discovered that William had been doing this for decades. The head of the American Nicaraguan School, Dr. Gloria Dahl, immediately confronted William, and he confessed everything to her. I was as a boy. That's why I do this, he reportedly told her, according to an FBI affidavit. I've been doing this my whole life. Those are direct words from William Vahey. A few days later, when William didn't show up for a planned Skype call with Jean, his wife, she called the school to check on him. A staff member went to his villa and found him unconscious on the bed. And at 10:03 a.m., Dr. Dahl, the leader of the school, sent out an email announcing William's death, saying, quote, "It is with great regret that we inform you that Bill Vahey, our 9th grade social studies teacher, has passed away this weekend. He will be greatly missed, as he was truly an integral part of our community," end quote. Keep in mind, this was after she had confronted him, and he had admitted to having been boys for his entire life. This is the head of the school, writing in an email, "He'll be greatly missed. He's an integral part of our community." A very sad message. And just days before, she had discovered that some of her own students had been photographed in compromising positions.
Y'all hear that? Didn't I speak about protection? About the facade, the way people see you, or your organization, or your household, your neighborhood, your home, the picture that you want to paint of a situation. She's talking about this pedo, like this guy just said, who had just days before admitted to her what he had been doing his entire life since he was raped as a young teenager. This monster just days before was literally admitting to her what he had been doing his entire adult life. He unalives himself, and this thing sets out to create an article saying he'll be greatly missed, respected this, and honorable that. The hell? What's wrong with people? So let me fast forward this a little bit. Hold on one second, guys.
Justice for these victims. They would never get their day in court. They'd never get to see William behind bars. He had taken the cowardly way out before having to answer for anything he had ever done. But having grown up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, just 20 or so minutes away from this motel, where one of the most notorious in American history had died. I have to say died because we have to be careful in this video. I knew that we had to go check the place out for ourselves because I have so many questions for William. And if there was a way that I could ask those questions, we had to go try. And
so this guy is he actually works with paranormal activity and stuff like that. So that's where I'm going to end that part. But because I don't get into the bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff. So for those that came in midway, this guy actually unalived himself in one hotel under a fictitious name that he had checked in. But across the street is where he had checked in using his true name. So he meant for people to find him. He wanted to be found. He wanted to be identified, but not until he had himself one last hoorah. Yeah. Yeah. And so this is just, this is just indicative of everything that I was saying the other day about the those in charge, different walks of life, but how they will lie, they will turn a blind eye, they will ignore the red flags, they will justify to protect their own kind. That's what they'll do. And it's the reason this picture exists. All that red is where 111,000 IP addresses existed at the time this was being investigated. And where it's really, really dark, it is because it is really, really concentrated in those areas. IP addresses where this nasty ass corroded community share images with each other. This is where they use those IP addresses to get into these chat rooms when your teenager is on these games like Roblox, and I'm sure y'all have heard about that in the news lately, right? Where they are literally trying to, or have been, not trying, they have created a way how they can communicate with our children and set up chances to meet our children with the distinct intentions of taking our children. I saw one on YouTube the other day, not the other day, it was about a month ago, where it was a female. It was a female. She had been communicating with this 14-year-old young girl on one of these sites. She had been talking to her for weeks and had finally convinced this girl to have her parents take her to Walmart. And she'd be there waiting. But see, because the parents were on their job, they reported it to the police. The police took over. And so while this nasty bitch thought she was talking to a young teenager, she was actually talking to the police. And so, they took it easy. They took it light. And they carried on. And sooner or later, they said, well, my mom's going to Walmart today. What about today? I'd like to, come over and meet your daughter. And she's like, sure. So the police asked her, well, tell me what you're going to be wearing so that I don't just walk up to a complete stranger. And she told her what she's going to be wearing. And the police told her some fictitious shit. They get there to the Walmart. They got this little young girl walking around in this colored clothing, looking like she looking for somebody, but it was actually a police officer's young sister who was helping with this sting. And she's acting like she's walking around and walking around. And the chick comes up and approaches her and says, "Is your name?" And the police snatched that ass. That's right, Queen Linda. That's right. That's right. They snatched her ass and had her sitting outside, for the sitting walk of shame. And she's like, "Can we please go in the back?" And they're like, "Yeah, nah. Go in the back. Why? Are you ashamed? You were about to do something immoral and illegal to somebody's child. Now you want us to protect you, your identity? No. No. Plus, we can't do that anyway. We have to leave you right here until the bus comes." Oh, man, she went to crying. She was so embarrassed. Sick bitch. But that's what they're doing. And that is what that flag, damn it, why I keep calling it a flag. That is what that picture depicts right there. That's it. At that particular time when they were doing this investigation, that's what the statistics were telling them. And it's really sad because it should not be this hard for us to get bills passed to become law so that the consequences in the sentencing guidelines become more stringent, more extreme for the people that are doing these extreme behaviors against our children. Against our children? Why do we have to fight that hard? There's a lawmaker on the West Coast. They will not say his name. I guess, he don't want that kind of publicity. But he said he wants the DP brought. Absolutely. Miss Tina just said to me, the sicko don't need no protection. Not a public pretender. They need the DP or their private outlet. Yes. This lawmaker wants the DP. He said, "I don't give a damn. It could be their first offense. Take them out." Excuse me. Take them out. Take them out. They cannot be stopped. They cannot be reformed. They are diabolical. They'll figure out another way to do it. They learn. They evolve. Just like insects. They're criminal-minded to begin with. And their fetish is disgusting. They'll figure out a way. So do society a favor, this lawmaker is saying, and get rid of them. Exterminate their asses and take the trash out. That's really some sick shit. And unfortunately, a lot of these parents that are not getting with their children, in the meanwhile, their children are seeing these images and they're watching these videos, and then they go and they practice this sick shit. All because the parents don't want to take time to have that uncomfortable conversation. They don't want to look their kids in their faces and say, "Look, this is what's going on. I saw this on your phone. I saw this in your game. This is illegal. It's immoral. It's downright disgusting. And you will not do that shit anymore. And I'm going to report whoever the fuck it was you was talking to, because this ain't right. Yes, get angry at them, because we should be angry. This kind of thing should not be going on. But you got parents like the ones in this that we just listened to that would rather just turn a blind eye. You got me fucked up. No, we gonna talk about this. And if I even think it's happening again, you gonna be the one uncomfortable, not me. Y'all see some teacher is just overly excited to be around your kid, your grandkid, whatever. Take notice. Don't ignore it. Yeah, we want our teachers to like our kids and give them the attention that they deserve. But y'all know what I mean about overly excited to be with your child. All of that. Can I come take them shopping? All of that. I'm having a sleepover. Can your kid come? No, teacher. That's inappropriate. Stay in your fucking lane and go get some goddamn kids that's in your personal life. You're my child's teacher. We ain't friends. There's a difference. Queen Tina said they are going to keep doing it again and again and again. Don't matter how many books, don't matter how many public pretenders they have to take. Let's get the DP back. Hell no, we can't turn a blind eye anymore. We got to stand up for our children, fight for our children, fight for us. That's who has been the victims of this. Absolutely. Absolutely, y'all. Absolutely. So this, again, is just part of my How They Failed Us series. This depicted how people right there in the thick of it will turn a blind eye, ignore the red flags, protect themselves and their careers at the detriment and sacrifice of our innocent children, even after our children is telling what happened to them. And the police, the judges, the lawmakers, the politicians, the dignitarians, all of the dignitaries from over other countries, they know what's going on in their countries as well. They know. They're part of it. They're part of it. That Epstein shit ain't no joke. And it goes way further than the shit that CNN and Fox and MSNBC is blabbering about, because that's all it is. They're just using different language, telling the same half-ass story. Stop playing. I don't even watch TV, y'all. I don't. I do not watch in real-time TV. I pay for my subscriptions and I get my entertainment that way. Fuck it, I watch Netflix. I watch documentaries and stuff like that. I don't watch TV. I pay over $200 a month for cable. And that's simply so that my husband can watch what he wants to on television whenever he's home. But I don't watch TV. I really do not. I haven't watched TV, oh man, about a year. Absolutely. And so that my son has Wi-Fi. You get tired of being lied to and fed a narrative that your common sense is telling you don't fucking make sense. You get tired of that. When I started seeing my favorite news anchors leaving CNN or getting fired from CNN, oh man, shit. I knew it then. This is a bunch of fluff. This is a bunch of bullshit right here. When Brooke Baldwin left CNN, I was already starting to side-eye the mutters. Absolutely. When Chris Cuomo was let go, I said, oh, yeah, it's some shit. It's some shit. It's some shit. Then they fired Don Lemon. Oh, yeah. These. And they blamed it on some dumb shit. Something that he said off camera. And listen here. And then Rachel Maddow from MSNBC, I said, oh, yeah, I'm done. Because, see, I fuck with Rachel Maddow because that's where I get my technique from. She deep dives. She takes it further than the surface. She's like, consider this, and oh, but let me tell you that, and oh, but by the way, you know what I mean? Like she listen, she is a truth teller, not a storyteller. Storytellers, they speculate. Storytellers, they throw in their lies in order to push a narrative. I'm not telling stories. I'm a truth teller. I'm giving you facts and my common sense. That's what I'm doing. If one was over here and one was over there, that means it was two of them, right? That's common sense, right? But that's not speculation. I said there was one there and there was one there. So that meant it was two of them. Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm not a storyteller. I'm a truth teller. That's what Rachel Maddow was. So when all these different people started disappearing, oh, but then they broke the camel's back when they took what's her name? Oh, the black lady. What's her name, y'all? What's her name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. From off of MSNBC. I forgot her name. But when they took her off, oh yeah, I was done. I was for sure done then. When they took her off, because I had already stopped watching television. And I was only like watching things like HGTV, like the DIY stuff, because I love doing that. I like working with my hands. But that was all I was watching. Like literally on damn it, I'm having a brain fart right now. I would go into, I would go into the specific library where all of those shows were. Like I wouldn't be, in the guide. I would be on that particular dynamic genre, and I would just watch those. I would binge watch those unless there was a series that was going on. Like I loved Yellowstone when it was on. Oh, I loved Yellowstone because I love Kevin Costner. So I watched that whole shit. I might have even binge watched it twice. I ain't sure, but y'all know what I'm saying. So once that Joy Reid, yes, lady, thank you, queen, Joy Reid. Once they let Joy Reid go, I was done. Period. Done and done. Done and done. I was strictly YouTube, Netflix. That's it. That's all. I don't do Tubi because I don't do cheap shit. I don't like low budget movies. I just don't. It's corny as fuck. And it's a white man who supports Chief Cheeto, Chief Orange Face supports him that owns Tubi. I don't know if y'all needed to know that, but he does. When I found that out, I took that shit off all my TVs. So it's not happening in my house. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to get that, because I'm gonna close the book on the pedo portion of how they failed us with this, that right there. I don't want to talk about them anymore. You know, there comes a time when you're just beating a dead horse. Like, how often can you tell a person, you know, stop ignoring the red flags, believe your children, pay attention to who's around your children? You know what I mean? Like, how often do we need to say that? Like, you know, our family is not that large where I don't think y'all can hear me. So I'm good with that. Y'all know how much I appreciate y'all coming here and being with me every morning. Y'all know I love you guys for that. Um and I appreciate y'all so much. There is a lot of backbiting bullshit going on YouTube. And although I speak the way that I do and I am as outspoken as I am, I care. I genuinely care. And I don't want to see that done to anyone. I don't want to see that. And so when we come here, as small as our family is, I'm not going to call it small anymore. I'm going to call it intimate. That means that we can comfortably sit around our table and we can pay attention to everybody. We can give everybody all the attention. Nobody goes unseen or unheard. I read every one of your comments, even if I don't read it out loud. I read them. I see y'all. And I appreciate y'all so much for being here with all of us. Yes, absolutely. Queen Lady said, my youngest is 25 and I'm still in his shit. I know that's right. Queen Linda said, me either. My kids aren't allowed to watch TV Monday through Thursday, and during their weekend they have to watch old school television. That's right. Queen Steptoe said, me either. It ain't worth watching. Yes. Amen. Yes. Queen Lady said, oh my God, yes, I see. Shaking my head. Read and exit and get on down. Because why? That's right. I don't understand. And yet it ain't for me to understand. Because I have my own assignment. You damn right about that. That's a fact. That's a fact you do. We all do. We all have an assignment. Has it been made obvious to everybody yet? I don't know. That's for all of us individually to find out. All you have to do is listen and pay attention. I believe that everything I've gone through in my life set me up for where I'm sitting right now. I do. It's why I can speak the way that I can, with a clear conscience and a full heart. I can say the things that I say because I'm not a bullshitter. I'm just not. I don't know how to do that. That takes too much energy. Y'all know how much energy it takes to tell a lie? That takes a lot of energy. I don't want to. No. Listen, I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom. I could be laying on that goddamn couch, flicking through YouTube simple ass streets and eating my damn vanilla wafers and finding something on finding something on Netflix to watch. I don't have to do this if my heart wasn't really in it. Exactly. Exactly. I don't have that to do. I don't. I don't. And a person who can keep up with all the lies that they tell and all the fictitious shit that they spread, that is a sociopath. It is. That's a sociopath. They could just lie with a straight face and remember that shit. Like, that's sick. That's a really dangerous person. Whether it's to rather they're dangerous to try to have a relationship with, a friendship with, a sisterhood with, or to just be part of their circle. That's dangerous. Somebody's feelings are going to get hurt when the lies are discovered. Well, I don't have that to do. Lie for what? It may take me some time to reach whatever it is people think I'm on here to reach. But as long as I reach the people that are right here, right now, on a loyal basis, if you can, you do. Those are the people that I care about reaching. That's it. That's all. My bills are paid. I have 2 bank accounts. Y'all understand me? This is not a second income for me. Some people will admit, yes, this is a business for me. This is how I pay my bills. Okay. It's not how I pay mine. I do it because I care. I got up here 9:30 this morning. I did not have to do that. I stopped what I'm doing at 7:30 in the evening to come and set up and get ready to come talk to y'all. I don't have to do that. Y'all know I had to refill my prescription for ibuprofens because I get a headache talking about this shit. But it needs to be talked about. A lot of people, they only get the surface of these stories. Only the surface. And then you got some lazy motherfuckers who bounce into my channel, get what information that they want, and then they go and regurgitate that shit half-assedly on their channel as if. But won't stay and watch my entire live so that at least I can get some credit for it. The bitches won't even say my name. But my house is where they got their shit from, though. I don't have to put up with this. But I do because I care. Because I care. I want people to know the stuff that's not mentioned on the news. I want people to know that the stuff that's not said on YouTube, because frankly, there is certain stuff that just can't be said. Well, I'm going to figure out a way to say it, goddammit. Yes, King Shannon, he said it's a cold, cold world. And YouTube is cold and filthy. It is. Some people love YouTube because it's where they can be keyboard bullies, knowing damn well they're going to run from an ant. Okay? They're going to, the only thing they're going to raise their hand to is a fly. Right? They can come up here. They ain't got to brush their teeth, comb their hair, wash their ass, put on some clean clothes, be just to look presentable. They ain't got to do none of that because guess what? They don't plan on Ever. And then they come with the excuses. You know what I'm saying? I got to live here. What the fuck that got to do with anything? I got to live where I'm at. What does that have to do with anything? So I just want y'all to know I come up here to kick it with y'all because I really do care. And I believe that friendships can be formed on YouTube, from YouTube. I believe that. You know why? Because I come from a genuine heart. I do. When I say to the cashier at Walmart, have a good day, thank you, I mean that. I want him or her to have a good day because I know how ignorant customers can be, let alone coworkers. So if I can offer a smile and bid them a good day, then I know my higher, the man, the big guy up there, he's looking down on me like, job well done, child. You left that person in a better mind space than when you first pulled up to their register. I'm okay with that. I'm not one of them that's so goddamn slow. Hurry up. No, I'm not one of those. I'm not. They could be younger than me and I'm saying, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Queen Tina. Thank you, boo. But seriously, though. Queen Lady said, oh, yes, I believe it can be formed too. Lady, I look forward to meeting you. And I mean that. King Shannon says, someone asked me, did I visit the beef or the B sector? I was like, what is that? No. Exactly. I know what that is, but yeah, no, I ain't got it to do. I don't have it to do. That is a sector that makes you ask, who the fuck raised you? Why are y'all so miserable? Like, what must be going on in your lives when you click this bitch off? What's wrong with y'all? And anybody, King Shannon, you're going to come to realize that Sean B, she cussed like a sailor. I do. But I will give you a hug. I will wipe the tears from your face. I will feed you. I will make you comfortable. I will make you safe at the same time. It's just the way I was raised. All the women around me, they cuss like sailors. So, and that's not to say that, I could stop if I wanted to. I kind of like it. It's just me. Queen Lady said we used to the cussing. I know that's right. Listen here. Listen. Cute little story. One time I was upstairs and my husband was walking out the room and I think I was coming out. I don't know. We were up there doing something, but Doobie was in his room playing his game. This few years ago. And we heard Doobie say, fuck me? No, fuck you. I said, oh my God. But I couldn't be mad. I mean, he hears his mama. You know what I'm saying? I just had to tell him, pipe it down. Because my other sons come to me and they explain to me that, playing on them games, it be a lot of adults on there and they be talking filthy, and shit. I raise my kids to give it up as good as they take it. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? But if I hear them getting a little bit too carried away, I have to go on and make them pipe it down. You don't disrespect your parents. You turn that shit off if it's getting that serious. King Shannon said, we all grown folks. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let me see. Queen Linda said yes, she will because she reached out to me. That's right. Absolutely. Sean B, you speak my language when you cuss. I know that's right. Lady said, like Monique the comedian said, it tastes good. I know that's right. Period. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all know it's a lot of different ways to say bitch? Monique taught that to us. It's the truth. Absolutely. King Cheddar said, but it also teaches us how to turn it on and off in the real world. Absolutely. Absolutely. Step 2 says, Sean B, I sent you an email. I'm going to go look, boo. Remember I said the other day that yesterday I wasn't going to look at, I didn't look at it all weekend, and I didn't look at it yesterday. I've got to make some calls this morning with the business that I took care of yesterday. So I will go and look. Queen Step 2. We come out the womb cussing. I know that's right. We do. We do. Piss and vinegar, girl. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But I have held y'all up long enough. I appreciate y'all so much. I do. And y'all know what I say. I love y'all after that.
Late night glow on the YouTube screen. Sean B steps in where the cuts run deep. From a New York state of mind she was born to see. What gets lost in the dark, what they don't want to speak. Silk in her voice, but the questions hit hard. Pulling back the curtain, laying truth on the yard. Every hush-hush story, every shadow clue. She's piecing up the pain till the whole thing comes through. She don't chase noise, she follows the trail. When the headlines miss, she will still unveil. With a sharp-eyed soul and a heart that knows some stories need light so the healing can grow. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. For the tears unseen and the cries turned low, she be lifting up the weight that the world let go. Every fact she finds got a purpose and pulse. Every case she touches makes the silence convulse. No cheap thrills, just grace and fire. Taking buried details higher and higher, where the whispers get drowned and the weak get missed. She's a soulful reminder they still exist. She can feel when the story ain't sitting right. So she walks through the dark just to bring back light. With that grown woman glow and pivotal flare, she's reaching for the truth 'cause it's waiting there. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. That city soul, that uptown grace, and a mind that can read read what time can't erase. So gather round close, let the story unfold. Some truths need a voice, some hearts need a hold. And she won't let the quiet just fade away. She's turning low, whispers into words that stay. On YouTube, tune in, let the realness ride. Let the realness ride. Like, share, subscribe, keep the truth alive. Sean B on the scene, bringing dark today, bringing dark today. Giving lost names rhythm, giving silence a say. Like, share, subscribe, let the people come through. Sean B keeps it real, and she's speaking it true. Sean B, true crime, where the hidden gets revealed, and every story matters.